so that we can start selling. The next step is finding as many products as possible. This is probably the funnest stage of e-commerce, I think, aside from making sales, because we can see all of these amazing trends and all of these amazing businesses. By the end of this process, what we want is options. We just want so many different options. We're not just looking for one idea, we're looking for 10. And this is because we're going to refine our thought process later on and we're obviously going to only pick one or two to pursue. But one thing's for sure is that you'll find a winning product and you'll be like, oh, this is awesome. But then you'll find another one and you'll be like, this is even more awesome. So we just want to kind of build this big master list of potential products that we can sell. Now, there's obviously two ways that we can find products. We can do conscious scrolling and we can just go on our Instagram feed, or we can use a paid tool. Now, I'm going to cover a little bit about both. But the reason why I recommend a paid tool is because the amount of investment in time that we're about to take, like we're going to have to order samples, we're going to have to shoot content, we're going to build a website, which is going to take a week. Then if it works, we're going to be running this product for 3 years, possibly. If it works really well, maybe just a year if it's a flash in the pan. But like the amount of investment that needs to go into something in the future compared to paying small amount of upfront money to actually get a winning product, the right winning product, it's just going to pay dividends. So the first way that we can find winning products, the complete free method, is we're just going to go onto an Instagram or a TikTok and we're going to sign up to a brand new account. You can just call it Spy Tool or, Davies Spying, or you could even name it around the niche that you are looking for. Let's say you want to launch a pet product. You can actually do it on desktop as well. We can go and we can sign up to this account and we can just scroll. This is called the scrolling method. What we want to do is we want to interact with ads, not just with normal posts. We want to interact with sponsored posts that we think are good. So we can click onto the website, we can like the photo. This is basically going to tell Facebook that we're an interactive shopper, and you're just going to get served more ads, more e-commerce ads. Don't interact with things like medical ads or just things that you can't drop ship. You'll basically indicate to Facebook that you want to see more ads or you're about to shop. You can just keep doing this and scrolling through and saving all of the links and then reassessing from there. But I do highly recommend the paid tool. Full disclosure, I created TrendRocket. I've been creating this tool for the past 3 years because I saw when I launched 3 brands to $10 million pretty much in the first 12 months, that product was just the most important thing. And most importantly, regional competition, being that there's no competitors for that product, was one of the main variables that was important. So what I tried to do was try to build a tool that gave you all the cutting edge new products with low amounts of competitors with a ton of data. So what we want to do is we want to go to trendrocket.io and then we're going to sign up. So we can start our free trial and we can select the plan, just select the monthly basic plan for now. Now, as soon as we're into TrendRocket, we're just going to get a bunch of trending brands. I will give you a walkthrough of all of these things on the side in a second. The first thing we're going to want to do is come into Creative Center and we're going to want to create a new board. So I'm just going to create product ideas and you'll see why I'm doing this in a second. Basically, I'm creating a big board with all of these product ideas that I can actually start selling. So once we've created that board, which we're going to populate with products, the main thing that we're going to do is we're going to come to this Discover Brand section. Now, the unique thing about TrendRocket compared to these other tools, now there is 30,000 brands in there. There's also over 1.5 million ads that is in this section just here. It's very easy for us to just populate TrendRocket with, with like 1 million brands. We just scrape lists and populate them and start scraping data. But for anyone that has used other paid product software or spy tools, it is so overwhelming. There are just so many different products in there. There's Korean game shows that are like running ads that you like have to filter through with English, and then some of them don't filter. There's uncompliant scam products that were never scaling in the first place. So realistically, by keeping the data set small, we're making it easier for you to find brands, because a lot of these brands are like, the vast majority of these brands could work. These products could work for you. So, but to filter through, because 30,000 is still a large amount of brands, what we're going to do is we're going to add a filter. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the Instagram followers and the Facebook likes are relatively low, because when someone launches Facebook ads, they do an automatic placement. So their Facebook likes and their Instagram followers are going to increase. So we're basically saying to TrendRocket, we want someone that is relatively new to, let's go 10,000, relatively new as a page. That way we know that they haven't spent too many ads, but we also want to go into Facebook ads account and make sure that they are running some ads, right? So like going 10 ads there, because that way we know that they're actually running Facebook ads, because that's the channel that we want to run. So that's narrowed it down to 524 brands. For me, obviously the brands are increasing every single day, so don't be too stressed if you get a different number. Now what I like to do here is I like to just hold Command, or I think it's Control for PC, and I just like to go through all of these brands and just open them up. So I'm just going to click into a bunch of these, and I can come across. Now the next thing that I want to do is, you can read this, but I just like clicking the website as well. So clicking into all of these websites just so I can see what they are. And honestly, I could do this for hours. I'm obsessed with products. It's so much fun. So this looks like it's a pretty premium. I have no idea what this is. Is it activewear, cycling gear? So kind of like vintage training wear, which is interesting. Then we've got a pets. This looks like a drop shipping product. Looks like it's a pet brush, as well as a detangling spray. That's really interesting. And see, we've pretty much got a product there if we really wanted to. Obviously, we're not going to pick the first products that we see. We want to spend at least a day on this, maybe even 2 days. And we're just going to, as I said, pull it in the list. So let's say I like this Nui Pets. I can come into some other things. Their scaling score is really high. Their revenue score is really low, which means that their business isn't very old, and their scaling score is very high, which is fantastic. We can go into their traffic and revenue, but the truth is that it's still pretty early. But we can come into their Facebook ads as well and see all of the Facebook ads they've ever run. So they are running that brush. They're not running the detangling spray. And this is the one thing that we can do. We can click on here and we can add these to the product ideas board that we saved before. There's actually already a default winning products board, and I can just click save ad because I don't mind this product. And then I'm pretty much just going to repeat this. I'm going to go through here. So Gamer Advantage, it is a proven lens to improve sleep, reducing headaches, and obviously it's for gamers as well. It looks like they're kind of selling supplements, which is really interesting. So a lot of these stores, it's a little bit confusing what their main feature product is. And that's when you come into the Facebook ads and you'll see what is their main core product, because that's the thing that they're running ads towards. So this is a great example of if they are just selling blue light glasses, which are a very saturated product. Looks like they've got a couple of other features behind it. I'm still struggling to understand what it is. This is a great great example of positioning. So if it is blue light, people are selling it to teenagers that are studying. People are selling it to gamers. People are selling it to older people that get headaches. There's plenty of different positioning that we can actually do for these products. That's what we want to understand. So now we have BioFirst, which looks like it's like kind of like a supplement. I didn't need to open that one. Looks like it's kind of a supplement brand. Looks pretty cool. Let's go see their feature product. Cool. So it looks like they're selling stuff for eczema, dried hands, natural kind of solution. This is a really good product for people that want to run some advanced stuff, it's going to be pretty competitive if it's not, unless you have like a really kind of unique ingredient. But I'm going to save it to the board anyway, just so we can study it. Did I just see Manuka? So the Manuka skin saver, let's just study that a little bit more, because maybe that's a viral ingredient. The richest people in the world are the most observant. If you were at dinner when you first heard about Bitcoin and you bought it then and there, how much money would have you made? I bet you everyone heard about Bitcoin when it was still very, very low. And the vast majority of people would have dismissed it and said, this is a fad, this is a trend. I'm not even going to bother trying to understand it because it's confusing. The rich people in life will actually stop and pause and be curious and be like, I need to understand this. I'm not going to act on it, but I'm not going to judge. And I want to understand, because that way I can connect the dots in other future things as well. So that really weird friend that you have that suddenly starts doing something like eating just meat, pay attention to it, because chances are that really weird friend has learned about a trend before you, or has learned something that you don't know, and you need to at least understand it. And that's kind of what I just did there with this Manuka product. I was clicking out of it because I'm going quite quickly to show you what I'm looking for. But at the same time, Manuka is just an interesting ingredient. I'm just like, okay, can it, if it is like Manuka honey or something like that, is there something that I can apply that into another beauty-based product for something different? But yeah, as expected, this is Manuka honey, which looks really cool. Really interesting product there. Now we've got fashionable walking canes. I think that this is probably pretty niche. But at the same time, there is riches in niches, that's for sure. I'm not going to save that one just because I don't really want to sell walking canes. And we've got a bunch of other products. This looks like cycling, luxury cycling and running gear. It's a bit too commoditized. It's kind of not what I'm looking for. If I was to start a fashion brand, and not to discourage you guys when we find some cool products here that we can drop ship, I think that, I probably would use the designer to make them very, very unique. But at the same time, if you find a piece of fashion that has some functional element for it, then that you can call out that as well, that's already drop shipping, I still think it is viable. But it can't just be really great looking clothes. In my opinion, I have seen some drop shippers doing some solid numbers with like dresses, but they're selling a dress that a celebrity has just worn, and they're doing they're kind of using that imagery. So sometimes that's a little bit dodgy, but at the same time, it's just something you guys need to be aware of, that you kind of need a unique angle if you're just going to sell commoditized based clothing, in my opinion. With all of these products, like in our Discord, we're going to have a winning product section. I'm going to keep sending products there that I think are winners. So make sure you join that, and we can just chat about products. Like if anyone finds anything really interesting or wants feedback, we can chat about that. There is definitely a thing with drop shipping, because it is so easy to actually scale, that you don't want to share your winning product with anyone. If I shared a winning product, 1 million people will start doing it. So you really want to get feedback about your product from people that you trust, feedback about your ads from people that you trust, but don't just go splurting it out in our Discord as well. Just a small note. But one thing that I really like to do with TrendRock as well is just come into the ads. And typically I'll have just a trend in mind. I mentioned the carnivore thing before, but what I'm really looking for in my product, because my purpose is not to make lots of money, but probably will have to make a lot of money to prove to you guys that this is the way to do it. I'm looking for something that allows me to cover a wide range of skill sets. So I want something that can do the viral creator. I want something that can do the Facebook ads, but I also want something that can allow me to show you the more complicated ways of acquiring customers, so you can be an advanced person. Typically what people will do with Facebook ads is they'll create just a random iPhone photo, video, they'll use a couple of influencers and they'll post it. that is their basics, and we'll start with that. But then the more advanced stuff is using advertorials and also VSLs, which is advertorials is kind of like a news kind of website that tells a story, and VSLs are video sales letters, which is a much longer form of piece of content that can educate consumers a lot more. The people that are doing $100 million, $200 million through dropshipping products are the ones that are doing that. And that's why I want to show you. So I can't pick a product like just a standard jacket or something like that, because I'm not going to be able to write advertorials. There's no large burning problem solution that requires education to bridge that gap with that product. So that's what I'm looking for, as well as all of the previous product requirements that we've previously talked about. So if you have this large kind of problem that you want to solve, or something that you're looking for, you can just expedite the search through the ads section. So I could also just search in something like posture. And when you get a little bit older and experienced within the industry, you start to see all of these trends that go full circle. So things that are just always going to be an issue for people, there's a solution that comes out, and then a better mousetrap comes out, and it keeps iterating. And I think posture is definitely one of those. So we can look at all of these different posture shapers. We can add these to the product ideas board. There's so many different selections, chairs. Such a big niche. But waist trainers. So we can play a lot of these videos. A lot of them seem from this Honeylove brand. So that's shapewear. That's kind of cool. Shapewear is such a big trend. I'll add that one there as well. We've got posture chairs again. Orthopedic shoes, I think. One thing about the advertorials that I mentioned, if it is for an older audience, definitely works better. I think that people find that form of marketing, you've probably seen them before. It's like, you'll never believe. It's kind of like the infomercial vibes. And typically it does work with a little bit better with an older audience, because they're willing to actually read and look at things rather than Gen Z millennials that just want to buy the product and will do all of their research actually on, this is an interesting one. That's a great hook. So we got men's shapewear as well. I think that's pretty cool. That one looks good as well. Cool. Bunch of products. Let's keep going. Let's go to something like ADHD. So fellow ADHDer. Maybe I can relate to these. Sweet. So we've got this brand here. I don't have sound on for anyone that's watching. It's a really good ad. Just one consistent clip. I like it. So it's basically a shot that helps ADHD. I like that. It's interesting. I don't think we're going to be able to, anything with formulations or like supplements is often difficult to drop ship, because the quality, you really don't want to sell something dodgy in that area. And if you're getting it straight from a Chinese factory, you're not vetting the product, you're not checking all of its compliance. It's probably another one of those compliant products that I'm a little bit too scared to use from drop shipping. I'd want to run all the tests, all the compliance tests and whatnot. So next we have this pod. Oh, yeah, Shark Tank. Robert Herjavec. Seeing him next month, so it should be fun. He's signed up for Shark Tank Season 2. Hopefully he can make it. So we'll go into this one as well. I don't know why that's for ADHD. So the review. Footwear for ADHD. It's kind of interesting. Now this product, I'm assuming, if I know what it is, I just grab another one. I saw it up here. It's a big mat, which is going to be too big to drop ship. So there's no point saving that one. Cool, they're selling a posture corrector as well. So saturated, that product. At the same time, it's kind of tempting to take the do the hardest possible product. The most competitive. At least then would test the skills. Cool. So that's relatively consistent across those brands. Next, we can do something like cleaning. Cleaning's always good because of the anticipation that it takes for people to receive the end of the clean thing. Because if people are going to see you applying something, then they're going to be like, okay, it's going to be clean. That was so obvious. I'm sorry. Sorry for just explaining that. But we've got some good cleaning products here. That looks pretty awesome. That's visually super appealing. An interesting shower. Let's pin that. So compared to the scrolling method of just scrolling on Facebook and seeing all of the ads, we've found just so many different products so quickly. So it's just going to be a big time saver, and they're just better products as well. So this is a sprinkler. That's really cool. I've never seen that before. I don't really see what the benefit is versus the other sprinklers, but it does look quite nice. One thing we can also do is go into filters. We can add by now. We can make sure that the video's, relatively long, 30 to 120 seconds. If we wanted to go and find VSL videos, we could use 2 to 10 minutes. I'm just going to remove this by now. And we've got chocolate. I don't really want to do a formulation. So we've got clean drinking water. If you're wondering about what trends you can actually search, we can just go into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is going to be your best friend for the next period while you're working through these things. You can just write in what are some of the best dropshipping niches, and it'll give you a bunch of lists. So fitness and health, beauty and skincare, we've got pet. Be more specific. We can send that. Resistance bands, posture correctors, keto. So we can basically punch any of that into TrendRocket and get some good stuff. So we've got, let's just do pet. So now we've got a bunch of pet products that we can look at and see what's unique about their positioning. It's a nice little hook. So these are tough toys for dogs. It's a pretty easy product. Not mass market, but definitely kind of niche. We've got pet harnesses. Pet hydration devices, that's pretty cool. Sweet. So I feel like we've got enough ideas now. So we can come back to this creative center, and all of those ideas that we just talked about are here. I think there's definitely more than 10. So how do we decide which one to pursue? So one thing that I really like about TrendRocket is that, as I said before in the previous video, if a product is relatively unique and is not covered over AliExpress, which the vast majority of the competing trending software, like product spyware tools are, they're just grabbing from AliExpress, scraping the data about how quickly those are selling, and then suggesting those products to you. You end up selling the exact same products as everybody else. TrendRocket's a little bit different because we're finding products in a different way. So realistically, you can be relatively sure that you're not going to overlap with these a ton of competitors when you find these winners. To understand which one to go for, it's a bit of an art versus science. I think that some people are very, very good at understanding trends and understanding how to market products. And those people are generally creative, right side of the brain people. Then there's people that are a little bit more logistical, a little bit more factual, that really struggle to wrap their head around it, and they want to use data to drive the decision. Depending on who you are is really going to be how much risk you want to take in this next step, because I think that for me, I will probably just go through one of these products and pick it based off my knowledge of the industry. Now, you might just be too terrified to do that, and that is not good. I want to get you over that hurdle. I want to get you to just launch a product and learn by doing. Action creates information. But for the next steps, what I would probably do is I would pick a product that I like after all of that research. I'm going to take this pet hydration one, just as an example. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go into the brand, and I can study a little bit more about it. So I want to just go to the website. I've got to click through before, but that's okay. They're doing some seriously great numbers. Some seriously good numbers. Really nicely branded, this will be a custom product based on their branding and how nice it is. It'll be a custom product, meaning you're not going to be able to find it on AliExpress or Alibaba, but that doesn't mean we can't find a similar product that solves a similar issue and scale it that way. So it's basically a dog fountain. So it looks like it's filtering the dog's water, which makes a lot of sense. Pulls dog fur, crumbs, grit. That makes sense. Really nice, clean website. Looks like they've designed it all themselves. The use case is obvious for this product. So we can pretty much now go into dog filtered water, and we can use Google to understand how saturated it is. Now, if you want to sell your product in the United States, and you're located in Australia or vice versa, you should use a VPN and you use google.com.au or google.com. And you should be searching in that country with a VPN on so that you're getting the suggestions based on being in that region, because that's what your consumer is going to see. And it's also going to be like what competitors are there. So we can see that there are a fair few competitors here. When we see something like Amazon being super cheap for our product, we can be a little bit concerned about it. And we can see again that there's retailers selling our product or something similar. So this is probably not something that we should go after, because unless we can find a really unique design. To find this, we can go to AliExpress and we can write in dog filter. And we can see that there's this design, which is probably going to match that previous design that I saw before, or something similar. And you can also just check out the price as well. $18 for that one. $13 for that one. Does that have a fish in it? That's weird. I wonder if the cat likes it more than regular water with the fish in it. But one thing that we can look for is if we are looking at the exact same product across all of these here, and they look ugly and they don't solve the right use case that we just have had a bright idea about, that's when I would still, even if it was in a retailer, still spend a bit of time on AliExpress to see if I could find the product that I really wanted. Or I would go to Alibaba, and which is a little bit harder to get into dropshipping, but at the same time we can do it. And we can look at pet filtration, water, and we're going to find even very, very different products on here as well. Let me go pet water, pet filtration, filter water bowl. And we can see that that's that previous one. But this is where I would spend a fair bit of time trying to research if I can find a better product than those out there. Now, as I said earlier, I don't want you to pick something too competitive. So this example that I've just grabbed is just far too competitive. You need to spend a lot more time in this section and trying to find brands or new products that aren't just completely saturated. Eventually what you'll do is you'll stumble upon a product that is relatively new. It only has 2 or 3 competitors. Then what you can do is you can go into the competitor's website and just check out how sophisticated they are. If it's a terrible website, chances are you're still very, very early. Then there's a good chance that this product, considering one competitor is scaling it, there's not that many competitors, they're also doing a really bad job, that's the winner. That's the one that we really just want to jump into and get moving very quickly. And the next step will just be coming straight onto AliExpress, searching it, getting it onto Zendrop, and starting to sell it, which I'm going to show you in the next module. For me, I've got to decide what product to sell, obviously. I think, honestly, the orthopedic shoes, I'd be able to scale that pretty well. This is just going to be too big. These guys look like they're... I think something in this compression wear space should be good. It's honestly going to be so difficult, and chances are, I'm going to have to invest a lot of time into the advertising. But at the same time, I think, as I said, I want to pick something really, really difficult so that, one, I can flex, or at the same time show you how to problem solve when things don't go as planned. But I probably am going to work with something in the compression wear space. It's very competitive, but at the same time, it's a mass market. I think that one thing that you can do is mix use cases as well. So yeah, I've got the posture wear and I've got the compression wear, both big things. Is there a way that my positioning can mix both of those two concepts so I can activate both audiences as well? Well, now we need to spend a bit of time market researching that. Both we need to find the exact product that we're going to drop ship, but we also need to write the briefs and the positioning and the branding so that we can actually compete in this competitive space.